Okay, so recording is now live. So today we're going to see how we're going to add hair to our characters here. So you can see the two different variations of my character that I did here. Alright, so there are two ways, right? Broadly two ways. Actually, there's actually more than one way to create hair, right? If you really want to talk about all the different methods. But the quickest way, right, would be to create something like a helmet style hair. This is actually a modified part of a modified sphere. And another method would be to create a single element like these over here. Alright, which I will show you several methods. Now this method of creating hair is a bit more tedious because you have to create a single strip, modify the strip and position it. And then you have to do it multiple times. So naturally creating the hair, right, can take just as long as creating the face. So it's time consuming, especially if you have a certain hairstyle that you are looking to achieve. Now if you want to do a hair that is a little bit faster but generally not that good looking, that is to create the helmet style hair. However, this style of hair, right, would be, it looks more like the plastic doll, Ken doll type of hairstyle. Okay, but you can use it as a blocking piece to figure out what your character will look like first before you use this method, which is quite commonly used. Now in a lot of video games, right, for this style of hair, transparency, right, will be added to this to give a fake look of hair, especially for a lot of game engines. But as the computing power increases, right, in future computers, probably next time, right, you can actually create physical hair, and which some computer programs and engines can already do the same thing. Okay, I'm going to load a file before the character has any hair, so which is probably this one. Okay, so this is basically this character here over here. I'm gonna hide her helmet and reveal her hairless state. And you'll notice I modified this character to include the ear as well, which is a very simple one. So let's focus on this scene over here. Alright, so we're gonna try out the quicker method to create the hair first. So I will create first a sphere. Okay, let me just reset my viewport under workspaces. Workspaces and then reset to default. Okay. Right, so now I'm going to create a sphere. And the sphere doesn't have to be a high resolution sphere. A low resolution sphere will be good enough, maybe 8x8. And because I messed up this material previously, so I'm going to fix this material first. This is our default Lambert 1 material, which I shouldn't have touched, but I'm going to change it back to its own default shade. And I'm going to assign a new material to this hair. Now remember, this material is a temporary material. We will be doing our materials and colors in the Unreal Engine. So for blend, I'm going to give it a name. I'm going to call this hair color. And I'm going to give this one, let's give her a electric blue or cyan blue color this time. And I'm going to rotate this sphere 90 degrees this way. Okay, just makes it easy for me to flow her tresses. Then I'm going to scale up the sphere, make it a little bit bigger, and position it right above her head. Now I'm going to scale this a little bit more. So right now she looks like she's wearing a turban. And let me fix some topology here first. I'm going to select, okay, my symmetry is on, so Control Shift, turn off the symmetry. I'm going to press Q to select. In edge mode, I'm going to select these edges, press Control Delete to get rid of the triangular faces. Control Delete to dissolve away the edges. Alright, so next, I'm going to delete away faces which I do not need for the hair. So let me just select this sphere in object mode, just bring it up a little bit higher. And I'm just going to delete away this quadrant of faces and these faces as well. So I have a shape looking like this. Pretty much it looks like a helmet, like what we are doing the helmet. Okay, but we're going to deform the shape a little bit and to basically create the hairstyle out of it. Now one of the things we need to do is to break up the hair. So in my original design, right, I have the hair coming down on the forehead like this. So I need to have tresses coming down this way. Now you can go over to individual edges like this and extrude it out. Okay, this is one way. And then scale out a section. Then go back to move again and then extrude out another tress. Okay, that is one way. Another way is that you can, I'm going to insert one edge loop here. And I'm going to split this edge here. This one I was demonstrating to the other class. So select this edge, then bevel this. And bring down the bevel. And then we can delete away the central faces here. And I'm going to combine these three vertices together by merging them together. Merge to center. Alright. And then you can have a split over here. You can do the same thing here as well. You can do this for multiple edges. So I want to create multiple tresses. So select all the edges here. Then I'm going to bevel them. Holding down the control key, and then you can do a fine adjustment so that we can delete away the faces. Now in other 3D programs I've used like Blender, right, I can just split the edges. Okay, maybe I haven't discovered the tool in Maya yet, but yeah, so now I created these, deleted the faces to create these splits. Then I want to merge these again to the center. Merge to center. Be careful when you select these three groups of vertices, you don't end up selecting vertices behind, otherwise they will be merged together as well. Right, I'm gonna just make sure none of the vertices here are selected. Okay, we can press number 4 to go to wireframe, that's safer. I'm gonna press G to repeat last command, which was merge to center. Press G, repeat last command, merge to center. Okay, so now I have more than enough tresses. I can select this portion here, use scale, scale it down, then press W to move, and then create another tress here. Or I think the correct term will be the bangs. Okay. And maybe this one I'll just extrude out another section here. Okay, so if you press number 3, this is what it looks like. And okay, I have some issues over here. I think I accidentally connected these faces, which is not what it is supposed to do. I can delete this away and fix the topology here. Merge the center. Alright. So if I press number 3, you can see this is the result. And again, I have this weird topology going on here. Maybe I didn't split this properly. And then merge these two vertices together. Alright. Okay, so the issue right now is there's not a lot of volume on this hair. So since they're still four-sided, I can easily split them in the between like that. Alright, and then I can use select the edge loop. Or actually I don't need to select all the edge loop here. Maybe from here, then hold down to shift, double click to select this range. Then just use the move tool and then puff it up. Okay, so from here to here, and then just move up the edge. So you can see now the hair has some definition. So this is a quick and relatively easy way to get a hair quickly. Then these group of vertices, or these two edges here, I can scale them down so that they become a tip like that. Okay, we can do this section here and pull it out. Okay. Now select these two vertices, or rather these edges, then scale and scale them down. Alright? Okay, be careful, don't accidentally extrude the faces. Right, so now you can see we have some bangs going on the back of a hair. So we will now continue with the back here. You can turn on soft selection, so that will help you increase the selection and create a little bit of unevenness, okay, when you pull out the hair. Okay, so essentially I'm just using polygonal methods to sculpt out the hair. And for my character here, there's a bit of hair going down behind her, so maybe from these edges here, I'll select these individual edges here, one by one. Maybe from here, then shift select all the way to here. Okay, let's try one more time. All the way to here, yeah. So I only want to select this group of edges, and then when I extrude, you can say extrude edge, but instead of keeping the faces together, we want to turn it off, right? So that when I pull out the edges, right, they'll be individual, right? I think I'm just going to manually move them, pull them downwards like that, then scale them. But right now I couldn't scale them. They are scaling together. I do not want that. I want to scale them individually. So holding down to Control Shift, right mouse click, then go to Component. Then when we scale, right, only the individual edges will be scaled down like that. Okay, while they're still being selected, I'm going to extrude out another section. So holding down the Shift to extrude another section, and then we can use scale. This time, Control Shift to change it to world axis, right, and then we can scale it out slightly so that her hair will spread out like that. See that? And if we want it to form into a sharp tip, so again, watch this again, Control Shift right mouse click, switch back to component while they're still being selected, then we can individually scale them down like that. Alright, so not a very quite a rough way to get things done. Now you notice the pivot point is a bit the orientation is not lined up to the world, so to change it back, Control Shift right mouse click, you choose back to the world axis. Yeah, then we can start to move these around and reshape them. Okay, right, so this is basically one way to create the hair, and of course you will have to spend a lot of time to continue to tweak and adjust. But one thing you'll notice about this hair is that it is a thin shell. So how to give it more definition? So the easiest way would be to just double click and select the entire hair. No, normally I'll reserve this towards the end when I'm really done with the hair. Then I will extrude all the faces outwards, and now you can see it is a solid chunk of hair. Okay, and to continue to edit this, then you must use the soft selection. Press B to turn on soft selection, holding down the B middle mouse click to increase the range to restyle the hair. And remember, right now you have a thickness going on, so you have to use the soft selection, right, to really sculpt and adjust the hair. Okay, right now the soft selection also, there's an option, right, which you guys must be aware of. When you want to move, right, rather than affecting the region around it that is not connected, you can go under soft selection and enable this fall off instead of surface. You can change it to volume. So by using volume, right, it will affect the region around the volume. But if you only want to affect only the tip, then you change it to surface, right? Then it will only affect this strip, it will not affect the rest. But if you change this to volume, right, and then you increase the range, then you will actually affect the objects within this volume of region that you specify. Okay, so be aware of this. So normally I keep it to surface, so it will only affect those region, right, that is selected and that is linked to the surface, right? This is especially important when you have an object, right, with multiple elements and you only want to adjust a specific element. Okay, I don't want to tweak this one any further. So right now I gave her one type of hair. So let me name this. I'll call this helmet hair. And just to unhide the helmet, you can see that right now my helmet is too small, right? So I will have to scale the hair down a little bit so that it, and also maybe adjust the hair until it stays within the helmet. Alright. Okay, then I'll restyle it again. Okay, so this is what her hair should be like. And then you have to go and restyle it in such a way that her hair doesn't burst through the visor. Yeah, this is the thing about computer graphics. Okay, the physics, right, is not active. Okay, so this is one method. Alright, so now I'm going to show you another method. I'm going to hide this hair. Then I will create a strip of hair, and then now this method which I'm going to show you is extremely time consuming, so I will not be showing the entire process. I'm just going to be showing how to do one step, and then it's pretty easy to figure it out. Okay, so there are many ways you can create a single strip of hair. Okay, one of the easiest would be to use the create polygon tool. You have to be in object mode, create polygon tool, and then just draw a strip of hair, and then make sure you follow this rule. Okay, I'm going to draw it in the counterclockwise method. Start from here. I'm going to draw a strip of hair like this. Make sure that there are enough vertices right opposite each other like that, and then press enter to finish. Then if you go to vertex mode, you need to do the connection between these two, connect. Then press G to repeat last command, repeat last command. So I created a single strip like that, and then in between here you can insert one single edge loop like this. Right, then I will center the pivot, alright, of this object in object mode, center the pivot, then freeze the transformation. Right, so let's adjust this strip here. So right now this is just a flat strip. If I press number 3, you can see that it becomes like a strip of hair like this, and maybe this one here I can push it out a little bit, make it sharper. You can see that this is actually kind of reminds you of the eyebrow, the way that we are doing. Then next we're going to select the center edge here, and then just pull it out. Then I'm just going to sculpt this down the edge here, push it down a little bit, and these points here in the center, just pull it out. So we have a strip looking like this. It looks like a banana, like that. So you want to keep the number of vertices low so that it's easier to adjust, right? And then next I want to rotate this to the side like this, 90 degrees like this. And in the front view I will sculpt this already. So you can use your soft selection tool again, press B, and then just sculpt this. Remember, you can also use rotate to give the strip of hair much more definition. Now you can also create this out from a cylinder, okay, a very low resolution cylinder, okay, but take note that if you use the cylinder, that means there will be faces that is behind as well. So normally I will create a strip of hair like this first, and then to make it a little bit easier to manipulate, I strongly recommend that you shift the pivot point over here so that it's easier to position the strip. Okay, so you have to press D to go to the pivot manipulation mode, then holding down to V, then click here. Okay, right now I can't transfer it over here because the snap is not activated, so I'm going to right mouse click on this, snap pivot position, then holding down to V, and then left mouse click, then you will move over here. Then I need to reorient the orientation of this pivot point. So right mouse click on it and then say reset pivot orientation. Okay, once you press D to get out of pivot orientation. So once you get this strip right, it's very easy to move this around the head. And if you can select the head and then turn on live surface, then it is easier, right, to just snap it onto the surface like that. Right, so now I got one strip. Okay, let's go to the front view and let's style her hair a little bit. So grab these vertices. Okay, remember to turn off this light surface, otherwise all these vertices will keep on snapping to the head. So right now I'm styling her single strip of hair. So now you can see why this method is very slow, but generally speaking, this method gives the best looking hair. So just do one strip and pull out this strip here. Okay, and then if you feel that you need more detail, you can always insert another loop cut here. Then, especially if I want the hair to curl up this way, so I'll rotate this and then pull it out, and it will have a piece of the bang coming out like that. Okay, so if you want it to curl like that. So this is just a single strip. Okay, next, once you go out of object mode already, you can go to rotation, holding down the shift, and then we can clone another one. Oops, this is too fast. One more time. I'm going to press plus, right, to increase the rotation gizmo. Then holding down the shift, then rotate another piece out. And then from here, we can start to adjust the piece again. Okay, let me just do several quickly. And again, using the move tool and the soft selection, we can restyle the hair. Okay, so remember to turn on soft selection, it will just make transition a little bit easier. Okay, so like I said, this is going to take a long time, so I'm not going to, let me just give it the hair color first. Assign, I cannot assign material like that. Okay, so I have to do it one by one. Hair color, alright, so press G, repeat last command, repeat last command. Right. So you continue to create all the strips. Now you can modify the strip, or you can create a brand new strip, right, just to create different parts of the hair. And let's say once you are done with the hair already, you can select all the pieces together, you can merge them together or combine them together. So mesh combine. Alright, let's say this is the hair, this is what I like, but we also end up with the same problem where the hair is a thin strip like this. So just select all the faces and extrude it out. Okay, make sure you extrude it in the correct axis. Alright, and there you go. This looks like tentacles, right? Okay, so you guys get the idea. So let me just do another one very quickly, just duplicate and okay, it's a spaghetti mess, but yeah, it works. So it will take a lot of time. So you see there's a big huge bald spot over here that I need to fix. Alright, one more thing that I forgot to cover is the ears. Right, and for the ears, you want to pick a face that is directly behind the eye here. Now we don't need to do a very fancy ear, just a simple extrusion will do. Select a face directly behind the eye and then just extrude it out. Now before I extrude it out, I think I want to increase the spacing between these two first. So using move tool, I'm going to slide this up and slide this down. Then select this face, holding down the shift, extrude out the ear. Now the ear is not like Mickey Mouse like that. This is, it needs to go back a little bit. And if you go to level 1, you can use the rotation tool to just rotate it like this. Right, then in level 3, we want to shift this face up a little bit so that it looks like the ear, and we can push this thing back in a little bit. Then finally, we want to create inset here. So select this face and then extrude the face and then adjust the offset, holding down the control to bring it in. Then press G to extrude one more time, but this time push the face down inwards. We can scale this thing slightly and we have a simple ear. Alright, and we can adjust this ear until it matches your design. Okay, so yeah, the ear is nothing fancy, simple cartoony ear. Okay, then we can put back our tentacle hair and see what she looks like. So which is okay, not too bad. Okay, usually I think it's better to do this in the perspective view. Right now her hair is sticking out quite a bit, so the helmet is definitely going to touch the hair. You can also use the rotation, which is very helpful to style her hair. You can also use scale as well. If you're not aware, you can use the scale with the soft selection on, and it will just make styling it or manipulating the tentacles so much easier, right? So yeah, so please try these tools and continue to adjust the strips until you get the hair that you want. But just for fun's sake, I'm going to turn on the helmet and see what happens. Yep, her hair is really bursting through her helmet. Okay, so that means if you want to keep the hair with the helmet, so you still have to put it in. But like I said earlier, my final design for this character is she's not going to be wearing the helmet. She's going to be holding the helmet on the hips and then in a heroic pose. So we will definitely keep her hair and not keeping the helmet. I mean, with her not wearing the helmet. Okay, that's what I mean. Okay, so with that, I should end the video now, but I'll just show you guys, this is what I previously done, which is a mess here, and then the original character, which I will show you right now. This was my previous attempt using the multiple strip method, which is also a mess because I was trying to do this very, very quickly, and I kind of like this method, this style better. Just that her back there's hardly any hair going on. So yeah. So yeah, these are the methods. So go and try them out.